EA has stated that they're not going to increase their video game prices, and I don't think they're doing this out of the kindness of their heart. We're going to get into this, we're going to unpack it, but when I saw these articles being released initially, especially following Nintendo increased game prices for stuff like Mario Kart World and some future titles, and Microsoft has increased in prices, right? They said they're going to increase prices for certain first-party games that release later on this year. Those are going to be getting the increased price of $80. When I saw the articles that EA wasn't going to increase its video game prices, I was extremely shocked, because if any company couldn't wait to jump on that bandwagon and increase their prices, to me it was EA. I was like, oh yeah, they're next in line for sure, right? And I was expecting Sony to follow suit too. Haven't heard anything there yet, but I thought EA would be one of the people to can't wait. They can't wait to increase the prices, but they say they're not going to. And at first I was like, a W's a W. We got to take them where we can get them. We got to give them their credit. They're not going to increase prices. Cool. But then I thought about it and I was like, why would they increase their prices? It just doesn't make any sense. If you look at their top games and where they get their money, why would it make sense for them to increase prices, right? We're going to unpack all of this. We're going to talk about it. But let's go over a few things, okay? So let's just take a look at what Andrew Wilson had to say. They do say upcoming upcoming titles like EA Sports FC, which used to be FIFA, and Battlefield are expected to maintain the $70 USD price. So we know that those two in particular are going to keep the $70 USD price. And here's some of the comments that CEO Andrew Wilson had to say. So he says, at the end of the day, whether we're doing something that costs $1 or we're doing something that costs $10 or we're doing something that costs $100, our objective is to always deliver incredible quality and exponential value for our player base. And what we've discovered over the course of time is when we marry quality and value together, our business is strong, resilient, and continues to grow. So that's from the CEO, Andrew Wilson. And I just don't understand. Well, now I do, but I didn't understand at the time. But why would they increase their prices, right? Because let's take a look. It even says EA's upcoming Sports FC, Madden, and Battlefield titles are expected to hit the shelves with its regular $70 USD price tag. Now, Madden, we can go ahead and get Madden the fuck out of here, because no one should be buying Madden anymore. I mean, no one should be buying any sports game anymore, because it has already been shown how these games have no innovation, no improvement, minimal adjustments year by year, and then they charge you $70 all over again. They're literally fucking their customers, and they love it. They love it. Don't get me on that rant again. I'm not even going to get on that again. But Madden shouldn't even be here, because with NCAA releasing and NCAA being a superior football game, there's no reason why anyone's buying Madden, and Madden sales have dropped. So I think we've seen the consequence of NCAA coming out and those Madden sales are dropping. People still buy it, but definitely not as much as previously, right? But if we take a look at the top games published by EA on Steam as of November 2024, I mean, let's just take a look. The top one is Apex, and that's by a wide margin. I mean, Apex is head and shoulders above everybody else. And then you got Battlefield, you got the FIFAs, right? The EA Sports FC 23, EA Sports FC 25, even FIFA 2020. FIFA 2022 is still up there. Like it's above some of these other games that released not too long ago, like Dragon Age The Veilguard, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So these are the games. Like if EA was going to charge $80, it would be these types of games, I would think, right? Dragon Age, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, stuff like that. I think games like that would get the $80 price, because why would they charge you $80 for EA Sports FC when that's not how they make their money from those games? EA Sports FC, I mean, there's a hell of videos on it. There's a bunch of videos on it. I don't need to go into detail. You can look it up yourself if you want to know what I'm talking about. But we know when it comes to these sports games that it's basically online gambling, with the thing being that instead of getting real money back, you get fake online cards, which is ridiculous. Like, that's a whole other conversation for a whole other video, right? You should not be spending your money on that shit, because if you are literally throwing your money away. It is literally online gambling, and it has been proven to have minuscule drop rates for the cards you actually want, the players you actually want, and then there's different tiers for the different players, and it's absolutely ridiculous, right? But that's where they make a bulk of their money. So why would they make the barrier to entry harder for these games when they make a bulk of their money on the microtransactions on the back end? And then Apex is the same shit. Apex is free to play. The reason it's free to play is because they make all their money off the microtransactions, and it's gambling. I mean, you buy these loot boxes, it shakes around, some colors fly out, and then you get randomized drops, and you keep doing that until you get what you want, right? You end up spending way more money that way than just buying the game for $60, $70. And then maybe some models have it where you buy what you actually want, like Modern Warfare with Warzone, or like League of Legends, right? Where, oh, okay, I see the skin for this champion. I know exactly what I'm buying. I know exactly how much it cost. There's no need for me to do this loot box thing. Even if it's in the game, you should have an option to where you can buy what you want to buy. There's no reason why certain things should be stuck behind a paywall where you have to pay money and you have to gamble over and over and over again to get what you want out of the game, right? The option should be there. Like, okay, I want this card, I want this player, I want this tier, and maybe it's $20, maybe it's $15, but I know I'm paying $15 for this card and I'm going to get it. Not $15, $20 for this virtual currency so I can buy these loot boxes, and then it's going to shake around and some colors are going to fly out, and maybe I get it, maybe I don't, and you end up spending $80, $100, $120, and then you're going to spend more money in the future and more money in the future. We know how this is. We know how addictive it is. We know this is basically online gambling, but you're not getting real money back. Like, it's worse. How is it worse than real life gambling? At least in real life gambling, there's a chance you're going to get real money, right? Like, if you win, if you strike out, like you hit the jackpot, there you get real money back. But for these games, you're not getting any real money. You're getting fucking cosmetics and cards to put on your teams for FIFA and FC. Like, what is going on? So why it just doesn't make sense that EA would increase the barrier to entry for those games. If they are going to increase prices in the future, which I believe they will, it's probably going to be for bigger releases, like any Star Wars release that they do that has a single player story, right? Like if they continue to do Dragon Age, if they come out with a new Mass Effect, right? And they're publishing it, that's where I see them hitting you with the $80 price tag. So I say all that to say this, because even when I saw the news for EA, I was like, oh, okay, that's good on them. We need to give them their flowers because they're making a good decision by not increasing the game prices. But that is not the case, okay? They're not doing it because they're being nice. They're not doing it because they care about you. They're not doing it because they care about the consumer. They're doing it because they know most of their revenue comes from microtransactions. So why make the barrier to entry harder? It just doesn't make any sense. And it goes back, I've said it in my previous videos, I'll say it again this time, I'm gonna continue to say it, but we need to stop spending money on this shit. Because when you spend money on microtransactions and you tell the companies this is what we want, this is what we're spending our money on, they're going to continue to put all of their time and energy into those microtransactions rather than making the game better. Making the game better than what it was previously, innovating on the game, making new features, new additions, actually adding stuff, adding substance, not just, oh yeah, well, we're going to make a new cosmetic and we're going to work on these cosmetics because that's what people want. They want the cosmetics. They want to buy loot boxes, and this is what the consumers want. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? And I know people talk about how games are getting more expensive to produce and they're getting more expensive to make. But if you look at a lot of these games with these huge studios where they hire a bunch of people and now it takes 6-7 years with a large team because they're not as efficient, right? And now because of that, It's taking longer and more money to make these games, and then the game comes out and it's shit anyway. So what's the point of getting a huge team, making your company bigger, hiring a bunch of people, right? And then you spend 5, 6, 7 years making a game and it's shit when it comes out, or it's mediocre at best. What's the point of that? What's the point? And then they're like, oh, we spent 200 million, 150 million to make this game. There are indie studios who have shown and proven you do not need large teams. You do not need insane budgets or a long time to make fantastic games. We have seen it over and over and over again. Every year, it seems like a studio comes out of left field with a fantastic game, and they prove to the industry that you do not need this shit to make good games. So stop making that excuse and stop making us pay for it. There's very few games where it might actually be worth it, like GTA 6, right? That might be one where it might actually be worth it. And we got to see, we got to wait and see. They're talking about $500 million it took to make, and it took almost 10 years, more than 10 years. Not every single game is GTA. Not every single game needs that development or that money. And then when you try to make that argument and make your consumer pay for it, it's not going to fly. We need to stop allowing this shit to happen. We need to stop allowing this shit to happen. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3, Expedition 33, like these companies come and show you don't need this shit. You don't need it. We can make it happen. And it's going to continue to happen. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it's going to continue to happen. Next year, there's going to be even more games from more studios you've never heard of that come out of left field, and they show you do not need this shit. You don't need it in order to succeed. When these companies tell you that, oh, it takes this much money, this much time, we have these many employees, right? We've grown so much. What do they have to show for it? Absolutely nothing, because their games are shit. What's the point of increasing the team size, of increasing the budget, of increasing the time it makes for you to make these games if it's shit in the end? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So, I'm not even holding my breath with this, because I feel like as soon as EA gets a big game where they can slap on the $80 price tag that doesn't have microtransactions, watch, heed my words. The next game that they put an $80 price tag on is not going to have microtransactions, or very minimal microtransactions. Nothing like EA Sports FC or Apex or anything like that, right? Or Sims. So we're going to see, man. We're going to see where this takes us. But I mean, people just need to stop spending their money on this shit. If you stop spending your money on it and you vote with your wallet, these companies will quickly find out that they cannot get away with this anymore, and they need to go back to making good games that people actually want to play. Not, let's try to find out how we can squeeze as much money from our consumer as possible, because that's what's happening across the gaming industry. Let's find out how much money we can squeeze out of our consumer, and let's find out how much we can get away with. That's exactly what's happening. And we need to put a stop to it. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not holding my breath that EA is not going to increase their game prices. They're not increasing their game prices for the games where they make a majority of their money from microtransactions. Because why would they? No one's buying Madden. No one's buying Battlefield. Nobody. So why would they increase the price? Right? It's like Xbox. Xbox increased the price of their consoles and no one's buying it. What fucking sense does that make? So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see where this goes. But I wanted to get this video out there because I didn't see much about it. But yeah, I was very shocked to see that EA is not increasing their video game prices. And I was ready to give them a pass, ready to give them a thumbs up, a pat on the back, and tell them good job, until I actually thought about it. And I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. They definitely have an ulterior motive. They definitely have a plan around not increasing their game prices. And like I said, I'm not holding my breath. They're going to increase game prices in the future. It's just which game is it going to be? Because it's not going to be Madden or Sports FC or Battlefield. Like, no one's buying Madden. No one's buying that shit, especially when college football drop. Sorry. And it sucks. It sucks because for people who are football fans and they like Madden, like I would be upset that each game is basically the same as the last, and that you don't get huge innovation or huge changes until like 3 or 4 years in between these games. If you buy it year after year after year, which a lot of people do. Conversation for another video. You let me know. But I don't know, man. You let me know. What do you think? Do you think EA is really not going to increase video game prices? Do you think that they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart, or they have some type of ulterior motive? Let me know what you think down in the comments. You decide.